I think you were the one speaking, and I was asking you whether there's any middle ground on all this, especially because it's made a very strong allegation towards you that you are buying Azimio members to make sure that even the independent institutions bend to your will. I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Wahiga, our president is a very democratic president. Our president is a listening president. Our president allows even divergent views to be aired in his own cabinet meetings.
Jesus.
And he has said it time and again that he's willing to have talks with any Kenyan so long as the talks are limited in the boundaries of our constitution. You know very well, we have ways in which you can engage government. One, if you want to have ideas on how government can run, you can bring motions, bills through parliament. Second, sometimes government conducts public participation. Let the Azimio people wait for a public participation meeting to give out their views, and then we shall listen to those views because we are a listening government. And we've done that before. You've seen our president engaging even with people who never voted for him. You saw the Luo Nyanza people coming to State House, seeking for development. The president has had enough meetings with them, planning on how they are going to develop the Nyanza region, because the Nyanza region has been neglected for a very long period due to political isolation. And the president has not even looked at how the Nyanza people voted for him. He has said he's willing to work with all Kenyans, regardless of how they voted. And therefore, we are telling our brothers from Azimio, we have better ways of engaging. We have more sober ways of engaging. Going to the streets, looting people's shops, causing innocent lives to be lost. It is a pity that we lost a young student in Maseno University yesterday.
Shot by the police.
Yes, because were it not for this mandamano, that student would be in school today. But because of the chaotic mandamanos of the Azimio people, we have lost a precious life. And we want to ask and beseech the Azimio people, kindly consider Kenya. You cannot be the same people who lost elections in 2007 demonstrated, who lost elections in 2013 demonstrated, who lost elections in 2017 demonstrated. You cannot be always bringing chaos in this country after every 5 years.
And yet,
come on.
Previously, you were a member of the party that you are now accusing of.
I saw light. I saw light. I saw light.
Then you are.
And it's a pity. Look, my friend here, Ledama, I've been to his place severally. This man is a wonderful farmer. When you go to his farm, he has all varieties of cows that, and he's doing very good milk farming in Masai land. It's a pity when I see the good Masai boy now. He's in the streets doing mandamano. His cows are starving in Masai land. He is not concentrating about what he loves as a person. It's a pity that Kenyans are being derailed to go to the streets. This is just an example at a high platform that a person who has very good business is being derailed. What about millions of Kenyans who are being derailed by these mandamanos? We want to beseech the young people of this country. Come on, it is now time. We are just from an imminent drought. Now the rains have come. Go to your farms, plant maize, plant beans. That's the only way we can reduce the cost of food in this country.
Okay.
But now the rains have come. Instead of encouraging our people to go to the farms, we are telling our people to resist farms and to resist businesses in Kenya. That is a joke.
Ledama, I want you to jump in on this one and even speak to this middle ground. Any middle ground possible in this?
I think we're very clear in terms of what our irreducible minimums are. One, just open the server. And I don't know why it's such a big problem.
Who to open?
Because look at it this way. Let us be very, very candid. You know, sometimes, you know, we're not stupid. We know what is happening in this country. Even a Standard 2 kid will tell you that when a sitting president sets up a commission of inquiry, you force 4 independent IEBC commissioners to resign. And one of them who refuses to resign, you make sure that you have fired that person. Where is the independence in the IEBC now? That is number one. Then, why is it that every time a new president comes in, you amend the law in terms of the IEBC? So now that we know who is controlling IEBC, because IEBC is being controlled by William Ruto, the president. That's a fact. Now that we know, and since he was a candidate in the election, and Raila Amolo Odinga was a candidate in the election, if you think we are being petty, why don't you call our bluff? Open that server.
Who to open?
Okay? Let me tell you. You keep on asking who to open. Yes. And I've just told you here that the person who is controlling IEBC is William Ruto. So because he changed the law to make sure that even the people who are elected, who are appointed to work as IEBC commissioners are people who will be leaning towards the government. That's number one. Let's just
so are you talking about IEBC now?
What do you mean IEBC now? In fact, the best thing you can do, if you really care about this country, you know, if you really care about this country, because, and let me tell you.
I was going to say, it's the same IEBC that got you elected.
Yes, it is. Okay. And in fact, I was taken to court. I was even taken to, can you let me finish? Okay. Instead of interjecting, no, I'm talking about the person who is controlling IEBC. It's William Ruto. There's no independent body. Even Parliament will not become independent. You just aired a story that Cabinet has approved the bypassing of Parliament to buy state organs. You know, very soon they'll be going after your own Mumias. They'll be going after, what do you call it, Zoya Sugar. They will be going after big parastatal like this one called what? Kenya Pipeline Corporation. And push these companies so that each and every companies get belly up or bankrupt so that the same people who are now bypassing Parliament, and there's a reason why we have a check and balance system.
I think made a lot of allegations.
Okay? No. Can I finish? Because you cannot tell me I think.
But not allegations.
Those are not allegations. It's a fact. Why do you bypass Parliament? Why do you say we are going to bypass Parliament?
No, let's come back to the server.
Why do you
let's come back to the server story.
Number one.
Okay,
open the server.
Then I come to you.
Open the server. That's us. You've asked a very simple question. Let me answer it in a very simple way. Our irreducible minimums are as follows. Number one, open the server. So if you do not control the person who opened the server, IEBC today, whoever is there, the CEO who is there, because we don't have commissioners, the CEO who is there, if you care about Kenya, go open the server. That's number one. Because we've seen, even when we did not have commissioners.
That's number one?
That's issue number one. Number two, stop this process of selecting new IEBC commissioners. Stop.
Okay.
Because you amended the law, and in fact, I remember we were in Mombasa, and a letter was sent by the clerk of the Senate to the minority leader for him to be able to appoint one person to go in the selection committee. We said, no, we are not party to this. We do not want this. Because it's already skewed.
And number three?
Okay, number three, reduce the cost of living. Let me ask you, Wahiga. Let me ask you, Wahiga, one question. Why do you introduce even a tax on the clinker? You are making cement on the mining of the clinker. You are making the cement more expensive. Why do you introduce a tax in mining?
Ledama Olekina, in 2022, KIPRA, the Public Policy Institute, issued a report that food inflation had more than doubled in the past year to 13.8% as of June 2022. Some of the items that were affected then were wheat, cooking oil, maize flour, milk, potatoes, onion, and carrot. We did not hear of Azimio going on the streets at that time.
It didn't call. Listen, let me be very honest.
What has changed so dramatically?
Let me be very honest with you, and I hope that the media can actually play its role critically.
I'm quoting data from a public.
So what I want you to do next time, please give them free airtime so that they can be able to educate Kenyans. All these agencies that we have, we deny them budgets so that they can be able to make sure that that information is available to our Njiko on the street. You want to tell me our Njiko in the street knows about that KIPRA?
You're not answering my question.
No, but I'm asking a question.
Cost of living was an issue in June 2022.
It was.
Ledama Olekina.
Cost of living was an issue, but it was the government then introduced subsidies to cushion Kenyans.
Okay.
Subsidy number one was the issue of maize. Those people who are supplying the millers, who have now closed all their milling plants, okay, were given money so that they can reduce the cost of flour to 100 shillings. Where is that money which had been given to those millers? Why can't we get? That money now has been diverted. William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, and Mudavadi. No, of course it's a fact. I'll prove it. They have now diverted that money, allocated themselves 802 million to buy vehicles.
The correlation between that, I question. Malala, come in.
Let me try. Initially, I thought my brother Olekina was a good legislator and he understands the process of making legislation. But let me just try and educate him on issues of legislation.
Bring it on.
My friend Ledama, you know very well that a tax is introduced through a finance bill.
I know that.
No single tax law has been introduced by this current regime. We have not done any finance bill yet. So I don't know why you are misleading Kenyans.
I'm not misleading.
And telling Kenyans that this regime has introduced taxes. Using which law? Using which bill in parliament? You know very well that... Just a moment.
Okay, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yes.
You know very well, and as Maura said, the cost of living did not rise when you got in power. The cost of living rose way even in 2021. And therefore, what we need to do, and we need to bring back soberness in this country, have a convergence of ideas on how we can come out of these pits of high cost of living. So, Ledama, we are imploring upon you that give this government space. We are only 6 months into the administration of this government. Give our president space. He has ways in which he's going to ensure that he reduces the cost of living. One among the issues that he has done, he has imported 30,000 metrics of rice from Ukraine. He has imported maize. He has imported sugar and foodstuff just to try and fill in the gap to ensure that there is low, the prices of foodstuff go down. Second, he is investing in a sustainable way of ensuring that farmers do not use a lot of money during production. We are cushioning our farmers. This government, in a record of 6 months, they have been able to register 5 million farmers on a digital platform. For the first time, we are going to distribute fertilizer on a digital platform. In the previous regime, they only had 1 million registered farmers. They were giving these fertilizer, the subsidized products, to 2 or 3 people who become cartels, and then the benefits do not come down to the people. We are committed as a government to ensure that every registered farmer on the digital platform will get subsidized fertilizer. Second, on the issue of the nutrients and the composition of chemicals in the fertilizer, Ledama, me and you know very well we cannot discuss this subject. We are not experts.
Yes, we can.
We are not experts. You cannot be an expert in Mandamano, an expert in nutrition and whatever. So let us suspend that.
I want you to respond to one thing that he said.
Yeah.
He claimed that you're buying members of Azimio up.
We are not buying. We are talking to like-minded leaders of this country. We are convincing them. We are persuading them. A few who can see sense are coming on our side. And let me tell you one thing.
Have you tried to talk to him?
It is a pity. It is a pity, and it's true that the people who are following Raila right now doing Mandamano in the streets do not have the blessings of their people. Ask yourself, why didn't Narok demonstrate yesterday? We didn't see people in Narok demonstrating, but the representative of Narok was busy in Mathare demonstrating. Why didn't Ukampani demonstrate yesterday? We didn't see the Wakambas of Machakos, Makueni demonstrating. Why didn't you see people of Bungoma demonstrating? We saw Eugene Wamalwa in the streets. So the leaders who are flanking Raila in the streets of Nairobi have no blessings. Ledama knows very well that if they cause chaos in Nairobi, the public perception, the image that we are portraying to the international community is that tourists will stop coming to Kenya, and the first people who will start suffering the effects of this maandamano are his people from Masai Mara. The Maasais are the ones who are going to suffer. And therefore, Ledama, you have a knife, a sword in your hand, and you are using that sword to kill your own people. Stop these maandamano shenanigans. Let us build Kenya. You left us a very broke country. You know how we found the public coffers when you got this government. We are trying to rebuild this government.
Okay.
But these people, what they want is simply a handshake. We want to assure them that this time round, we are very focused. We shall allow them...
Who has written to UDA or to the president? Has someone written to them stating they want a handshake?
These people talk to us at night. They talk to us at night.
Who talks to you at night?
These people, I don't want to mention names today, but these people talk to us at night. They bargain with us at night. They go to maandamano during the day. In fact, I was watching one of the legislators here giving us ultimatums, yet he's our customer at night. And next time I'll bring names.
You know, let me just take it from there. Number one, the demonstrations that we called for were not for the constituencies and they were not for the counties. We asked people to come to Nairobi. And what you don't know is that every bus which was coming from Kisii, from Narok, was being stopped. They were checking. They look at you and say, are you going for the demonstration? There was a big traffic jam in Narok because each and every bus was being checked. So that's number one. Number two, let's go to the issue of these subsidies that this government is saying they're subsidizing fertilizer. The facts, and facts are very stubborn. I know my brother here has said that we cannot talk about the compositions of DAP. But as farmers, in fact, if you go to Githunguri and you get a farmer, that farmer will tell you if it is DAP, it must have 18% nitrogen and 46% phosphate. Because now, if we are now being forced to get one, the one that the government is providing has got 11%.
This argument you
nitrogen,
said in the last Senate,
and
you made this submission in the Senate. In the last Senate, when I was in the Senate,
what?
you made the same submissions.
23% what? Phosphate. Now, when we are now doubling, when we double,
you are not being sincere
using
yourself,
about 80 kilos.
Ledama made the same presentation in the last Parliament.
80 kilos instead of now, first of all, you are lying to Kenyans that you are giving them a subsidy because you're costing them more money. If you're saying it's 3,500, but for me to be able to get the same inputs, to be able to get the same outputs in 1 acre, I have to spend 700. Why don't I just go to the street and buy the 6,000 shillings? And that is actually what is happening right now.
No, but
in fact, right now, if you turn this TV and you watch Cast TV, you will hear farmers are complaining even in Elgeyo Marakwet. They are saying, "Ata hii ya 3,500 iko wapi?"
I was hoping you'd say Chamge FM.
No, CG, I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Chamge FM or something like that. You see, let me just finish. Because I have to rebut and I have to respond to everything that he's saying. So, number one, this issue of subsidies that they are talking about is a scam. Because they are not being honest.
Okay.
Number two, the issue of the
handshake.
The handshake. I want to be very, very honest with you. We are not interested in a handshake.
So
those brothers of mine and sisters of mine you're talking about, that they are talking to you or they are your customers at night, please, my brother, let's call a spade a spade. Unajua mwanaume anazaliwa siku moja na unakufa siku moja. Name them. Sema ni fulani. And me, I want to warn them. We are not wasting our time here. We are fighting for Kenyans. If you are putting us in the streets and then you come in here and lament and then at night you're dealing with other
you are alone.
Okay?
You are alone in this mandamano.
So
I can tell you. You are alone.
Okay, then let me be the last man standing.
I can tell you.
Because
your colleagues are negotiating with us at night. And you know that.
I don't know. Because what I know is that the reason why we are calling for the demonstration is because the cost of living.
So what proposals
so unbearable.
Tell us the proposals you have. How do you want?
Told you.
That was going to be one of my questions, so let's hear it. I want to hear proposals from both sides.
You've asked for the proposal, and I'm saying this. Number one, Kenyans are no longer naive.
Give us a roadmap. Give us a roadmap of how you'd want us to reduce the cost of food so that we can.
You see, my brother here
Kenyans.
talked about, you see, if you could just shut up and let me talk,
Okay.
it will make my life much better.
Okay.
Because if you are shouting here and shouting here, I will continue talking and I will not change my thoughts, but it will be a shouting match. Let us be open with each other. My brother here said that in the last parliament is the one that introduced all these taxes. Now, if you really care about this country, and you care and you say, okay, it is the last parliament, which he was not a member of UDA or Jubilee then, he was a member of Azimio. We were demonstrating with this young man in the streets.
Until I saw light.
You know, yeah, we'll call it light, call it darkness, whatever. Now, if indeed we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta listening to Kenyans when people were crying about the introduction of 16% VAT on fuel, and they were able to negotiate and they brought it down to 8%. That is the amount which is there. If really what you're saying is true, then why don't we do this? Why don't this country now, which cares about the people, say, first of all manufacturing levies, all these other taxes, we are suspending them. There is a better way of this government collecting taxes. You know, don't overtax people. You know, when you look at the economies, this time, when we are just coming out of COVID, and the cost of living started going up because of COVID. When people could not be able to go to their farms, when people could not be able to work, life became so difficult. We could not be able to import whatever we were importing. So it started going up. The government then saw the need to be able to do what? To do away with certain taxes. Why not? Now that we are all crying and saying these taxes are killing us, they are killing Kenyans, why not say, we don't want this tax, we don't want this tax and this tax?
Is there anything,
nowadays,
Senate,
let me finish. Nowadays,
no, I also
everything,
need to interrupt.
What are you saying?
Is there anything Senate can do?
There's absolutely nothing.
Go home.
And I'll tell you why. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. I've just told you they are buying our members, you know, they are buying our members so that anytime you bring an amendment,
they have not
anytime you bring him an amendment to anything, they say, hii sheria inapita without a comma, or even anything being changed. Hata kama iko na typo, let it proceed like that.
So what amendments?
Wait, Malala, let him finish.
You know,
I'm coming to you.
The truth is, even in the last government, and I always say, I always put facts out there. Whether you like them or not, I will say. I stood alone in one afternoon, and I brought in amendments to the Energy Act and the Petroleum Act. Okay? I stood alone. You can go and look at the Hansard. And I stayed for almost 2 hours passing those amendments in the Committee of the Whole. Okay? Some of them are, and then the then Minister of Energy then was not Henry, what's his name? The former minister. He was now running to become governor. He's a good, Charles Keter.
Charles Keter, yes.
I went to see Charles, and I told Charles, please, these things are wrong. Can we change this thing? Can we change this thing? He said, no. Go. You know, just go. The instructions are very clear. Do not even change as full stop. Pass them. So all the amendments that I brought, I literally just wasted my time for over 2 hours alone in the Senate.
Who was the president then?
Alone in the Senate. And then, of course, the president then was Uhuru Kenyatta.
Malala, hang on, I'm giving you your chance.
But the deputy president was William Ruto.
And the handshake brother?
No, I don't care about handshake that time. Listen, let's just be factual here.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point of us coming here on national television. And then we come and become, you know,
my brother here is...
We become juvenile. Let's be factual. No. What we are saying is this, and I'll summarize...
I'm giving him his parting shot.
I'll summarize this.
Briefly.
I want Kenyans to go to the Library of Parliament and request for 3 reports which will be able to help us all bring sanity on the table. Report number 1 is the Kennedy-Kiluku report of 1992. Report number 2 is the Justice Okiwimi report. Okay? And then report number 3 is the Kriegler report. We need to know where we are coming from, where we came from, and where we are going. Number 2, power is transcendent. All these things that we are fighting here, if the truth is that we respect the Constitution, There's absolutely no reason as to why we should be bypassing Parliament to introduce certain punitive decisions in the cabinet that will end up affecting Kenyans.
Okay.
And finally, on my parting shot on this issue, is this. If we are truly democratic, allow Kenyans to picket, to demonstrate, remove, don't spend the 2 billion, don't make us lose 2 billion. Don't increase, if you really care and you are democratic, instead of increasing the police budget to be able to buy tear gas, increase that police budget to be able to give them free health care.
Okay. Malala, you can now come in. And Malala, both of you, gentlemen, in this room, I must say, are perceived as hardline antagonists in your respective sides. At this juncture or crossroad that Kenya finds itself in, would you say that you're part of the problem or part of the solution? Malala, let me start with you on that one.
I have insisted this point time and again, that we are willing to talk to our brothers. We are willing to listen to their proposals. But some proposals cannot be implemented. They're not realistic proposals. Like the simplistic approach he's introducing on issues of, and the government should remove all taxes. You know, we have a country to run. We have the free primary education to facilitate. We have the university education to facilitate. We have the healthcare sector to facilitate. A country cannot run without revenue collection. And therefore, the suggestions that you are bringing must be reasonable suggestions. Ours, we've said that we are going to engage with all like-minded Kenyans to bring to get to an amicable solution to this stalemate that we have right now. We want our country to move on. We had our plan. Our plan was that we stimulate this economy through projects like the housing, project. You've seen recently the president was focusing more on the housing project so that it can stimulate our economy by offering young people of Kenya job opportunities. We are pumping a lot of money in the TVET institutions so that we can train our young people to be absorbed in the housing project. We have a target of having more than 2 million households within a period of 5 years. And we are focused to ensure that we deliver our mandate to Kenyans. Second, we have said we want to improve the infrastructure of this country so that we can deal with the issues of food security. We are pumping a lot of money in construction of dams. We want to have our water reservoirs so that in case we experience a drought in future, we have enough water that is going to carry out irrigation so that in future we do not get ourselves in the same dungeon that we are right now. So we have a definite plan that our president is implementing. What we are asking our brothers, come on, give us time. Give our president time to implement his manifesto. Even the Auditor General audits books of accounts after 1 year. We are only 6 months into government. Kindly give President William Samoei Ruto time to implement his plan, and I can assure you, we have an able leader in President William Samoei Ruto.
Okay. As we now reflect on what the next week could look like, you mentioned earlier there was damages to your headquarters in Kisumu. You're working on repainting that. Is that correct?
Yes. It is quite a pity that demonstrators who are hired by ODM went to our UDA office to destroy and to torch our... And
you need to prove that they were hired.
Yes, they were hired by ODM because they are the ones who were demonstrating yesterday. Nobody else was demonstrating.
There's no correlation there, but yes, carry on.
And we have said that we are going to write to the Register of Political Parties to ensure that ODM are accountable to this heinous act. They must be accountable. They must pay and compensate the owners of the vehicles which were torched yesterday, and this must come to a stop. We are also going to ask the High Court to suspend disbursement of the political parties' funds until this matter is heard and determined. Because we do not want to set this as a precedence. That when you are dissatisfied...
Are you doing this? Are you doing this tomorrow?
Yes, we are. I'm the Secretary General. I'm the one who is writing to the Register of Political Parties, and I'm also instructing our party lawyer to institute a court case against ODM. These must come to an end.
Okay.
Because we are setting a bad precedence that when you are dissatisfied with somebody, you touch down their political party's offices. That is a cake. But we are telling the Kisumu people that on Tuesday, we are going back to Kisumu to repaint. This is the ruling party. This is not just any other party.
Okay.
We are going back to Kisumu. We are going to continue with our grassroots membership drive, and Kisumu is going to be yellow. And I want to congratulate the leaders of Nyanza region who have come out in large numbers to emancipate themselves from these shackles of political oppression that has been happening since the era of...
okay. Noted.
Yeah, just a moment.
Yes,
a moment.
Briefly. We are running out of time.
Those leaders have seen lights at the end of the tunnel. Because the current leaders who have been shielding themselves behind the shield of ODM have been using their political positions to have an egocentric gain out of their political positions. But the community has always been isolated. Go to the Kenya Police Service. You will find very few people from Nyanza because these guys have been isolated at one corner of the country. But our president is determined to ensure that he brings all the Nyanza people on board.
You've made your point. So Monday.
But before we go to Monday,
okay.
Let me just respond to something. You know, I know the former Senator Malala very well. You know, this is a guy who can write for you a play, and that play will win the Academy Awards. You know, I'm sure this man paid those goons to go and destroy his own office.
How come?
That one, I'm 100% sure about that. Number two, Ruto and Rigathi only care about their offices with new furniture and new vehicles. We have seen that clearly in the budgets. This money being spent on a weekly basis to go and do Thanksgiving. Like the other day, I could see military helicopters, you know, going from Nairobi to Kericho. Kericho people did not want to see a show of military helicopters. What they wanted is their cost of living to go down. Do you want to tell me Kericho people pay for that? We spend almost 10, 20 million in a sitting like that. Right now, our people in Samburu are living outside because of reckless decision by the Ministry of Interior. You know, I saw in this TV here, when you are showing our people in Samburu, are young girls sleeping outside. They are being rained on. You've kicked them out of their homes. The kids are not going to school. Come on. I mean, you lie to the police. Malala, you talk about the police, the poor police, Nini. Those police, increase the salary that you said you're going to increase for them. You know, I mean, and finally, let me put it this way, so that we can talk about it, because I'm just reflecting a lot on what you said, that we might have some people who are in bed with you guys at night. You know what? In hindsight, let them go on. Because we have over 70% of Kenyans behind us. So they can all go and line their own pockets, but we will steady on, we will fight until the cost of living comes down, until young people in Mathare can have the same life that you and I have.
So as you speak right now,
wrong.
Senator,
it is wrong, my brother.
For business people hearing you say we are back on Monday.
No, we will not. Let me tell you.
I want to understand. So what, are you going to be back on Monday yourself?
Business people, Azimio rallies have always been very peaceful. Azimios have never touched anybody's properties, not even a single day.
Must you do a rally in this?
Do not bring in the police. Let me finish.
Yes,
do not bring in the police to barricade. Why are you arresting our leaders? Why do you go in? Senator Madzayo and Senator minority leader Wandai were crossing from Parliament to go to KICC. You arrest them. I mean, seriously. Why are we coming back to the dark days when we were young boys growing up in this country? You know, if we care about our children, and this will be my last word tonight, if we care about our children, allow people to take the Constitution, read it, and interpret it the right way. If it is demonstrate, go picket. How come in South Africa we did not see the police? The police were called. They were told, now, this is what you need to do. Allow these people to demonstrate. Let them peacefully demonstrate. If any one of them touches anyone's properties, arrest that person. And, I mean, that's the rule of the law. You know, the law is there to be able to guide us.
How many protests?
And I can tell you, this, Wahiga. You know, when we were in Mathare, when we were in Starehe, when we were in Isili, the people who are walking, in fact, I can tell you this, without any fear of contradicting myself, that there were people who are planted in there so that they can loot, so that people can say, look at the Azimio demonstrations. How come all the demonstrations we've held, all the meetings we've held in this country, not a single person has ever come and said, my property was damaged?
A minority whip, if the government does not heed your call on those three matters, how long will the demonstrations go on for?
Let me tell you, Kenyans wanted this demonstration to go on a daily basis. Daily. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They wanted that because they're tired. They'd rather go there, and maybe I could see some of them yesterday when the state was wasting money with the water bowsers. They were there drinking because they cannot afford to buy any water in their homes. They were there taking a shower without water. You know, seriously, there's something seriously wrong with this government. Okay? What we are asking is very basic, very basic. If you know that you won and you have no problem, open the server, call our bluff. If you know that you won, why don't you include everybody and say, gentlemen, you know, since power is transient and we are only here for a short time. And the reason why I told people to go read these three reports, in fact, if you read the Justice Okuwemi report of 1997, there's a part where he talks about the importance of us understanding what is wrong with this country. And he wished that one day, this country called Kenya, we will not see each other as tribes. But what William Ruto is doing right now, I can tell you, is that every appointment, 10 Kalenjins, 1 Kikuyu. Every appointment, 10 Kalenjins, 1 Kikuyu. Kwani, are we children of a lesser God? Are we not taxpayers in this country? You know, why are we bringing this issue of tribalism again? You say, okay, we are one country. We are lying to people that we are one country. But then every single appointment.
Okay, you've made your point. I want to hear from him as we wrap this up.
As I conclude,
yes,
on the issue of the server, I want to implore upon my brother that before you remove a peck in your brother's eye, remove a log in your eye first. The people who are demonstrating so that the servers can be opened are the same people who have been oppressing members of their party, ODM, during nominations. Right now, ODM has never opened a single server in their nominations. Just a moment.
Malala, now you're the one who wait.
Apples to apples, not apples and bananas.
Because we've seen their elections, their party elections, they have never been democratic. They have never opened the Kisumu woman rep nominations servers, which gave Raila Odinga's sister the ticket directly. They have never opened the Siaya nominations servers, which gave Raila Odinga's brother a direct ticket. They have never opened the ODM servers, which advantaged Winnie Odinga to be a nominee of Yala. And therefore, we are challenging them. Before you come on a national platform saying that you want your servers to be...
What server is there?
Just a moment.
What server is
Go
there?
deal with your nomination...
What server is there?
Go deal with your nomination problems before you come on a national problem. Second, and lastly, it is now official and it's now obvious that Raila Odinga has become a tribal leader, has relegated himself.
Those are very, very, very strong statements to make.
It is, and I want to justify this because, look, yesterday we had demonstrations in 2 counties in this country. He has, the national constituency he used to enjoy is no longer there. The Taita Taveta people are no longer listening to him. They never demonstrated. The Marsabit people didn't demonstrate. In the past, Raila would say something and the entire country would come out. This time round, they only demonstrated in Kisumu and in Nairobi, where their clansmen reside.
No.
Why didn't they go?
That's hogwash.
Why didn't they
Seriously.
go to Roysambu constituency? Why didn't they go to Dagoretti South? They chose a route cleverly to where their clansmen stay. That was a clan meeting. That was not a national meeting because they were even talking in their native language.
No way.
I don't think we had any of that.
Understand?
Gentlemen,
Listen.
can we wrap this up?
We are wrapping it up. My brother, just
No.
remember, it's a speck, not a peck. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Okay?
So remove it in your eyes.
Okay? Listen,
Remove
it's a speck,
it.
not a peck.
Remove it.
Number two, you cannot compare apples and bananas. There's no server for us to have, for elected leaders to elect one of their own, or rather someone from their own party, to go and represent them in the East African Legislative Assembly. So there's no server there. So
what we are saying,
listen,
it was figurative.
Okay,
It was
gentlemen,
figurative.
we're going to wrap this up. I think you've both gotten
That
your
was
points
figurative.
across.
It was
We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it at that. Is there any chance of back channel conversations happening between now and Monday?
he just told us. He just told
Yes,
us that
there is.
At a high level. At a high level.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
sure
there is.
that-
I think you should share with me.
there is.
I
I can assure you.
Share with me.
There is high level of conversation behind the scenes. These people are coming to us, begging, telling us, come on, don't embarrass us. Kindly agree to what we are saying so that we come out, we have an exit strategy to this. They are unable to come out of this quagmire. And we are telling them,
Is there any back channel?
Absolutely
know.
not.
He doesn't know.
Let me tell you.
He's
Let me
just
be
one
very
of the
honest with you.
demonstrators. He doesn't know.
Let me be very honest with you. I'm the minority whip of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. And I represent the interest of my people who are suffering.
In
my
Mathare.
people who all over. My people are in Mathare, yes. My people are in Kenya.
Let's stop shouting
so,
over each other.
So it's not a shouting
Yes.
match. And I'll just finish it like this, my brother. I've just said it. Those brothers of ours who are in bed with you, let them proceed. Let them do whatever they want.
You are alone.
Okay? I'm alone, sawa. But I know I'm not alone. I have Kenyans behind me. And watch this.
Ledama, we were
Gentlemen,
with
if
you.
we
We were
carry
with you.
on, we may be alone as our viewers go to sleep.
Waiga, just a moment.
So I want to wrap this up. Yes.
We were with Ledama in Uhuru Park, swearing in Raila Odinga. Little did we know that behind the scenes, Raila was negotiating with Uhuru Kenyatta. I am telling you,
So
you are alone in this thing. I can
Okay.
tell you, and I'm speaking as the Secretary General of the ruling party. You are alone in these demonstrations.
Very, very cryptic. We're going to leave it here. Thank you so much. Let me say thank you to my guests. We have had the UDA Secretary General, Cleophas Malala. We've had
playwrighter.
Minority Whip, Ledama Olekina. That music is our sign to exit the studio. On behalf of the whole team that's made this broadcast possible this evening, our sign language interpreter, very patient, has been Yulan Zale. Thank you for tuning in wherever you've watched us from. God bless and watch over this country. And remember, here on Newsnight, every Tuesday, we bring in duty bearers, opinion shapers, to hear what's happening. And today you've gotten a sense of what's happening on both political sides. And we will continue to keep you updated on that here at Citizen TV. So